Greetings, everyone. I'm very excited again to be in conversation with John White. And let me just briefly introduce you, John, and then we'll get into our conversation. John White is a Rife researcher and inventor from New Zealand, now living in China. He has a background in electrical engineering, physics, and computer sciences, and is really a pioneer and cutting edge researcher in energy and scalar healing. And we're going to be talking today about a new device you've developed, as well as your scalar healing device and the MicroGen, which I have and have experienced and love. So it's great to be in this conversation. And part of what's exciting to me, John, is I think as we're moving into the Aquarian age, it is going to be more and more about frequency and energy healing. And you really are a cutting edge researcher and pioneer in developing those devices. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me onto your show. Thank you.
So why don't we start with the scalar and then go through the other devices, but talk a little bit about how that works and what scalar energies are about.
Scalar energy is very exciting, Heather. It's a subtle energy. When people think about frequencies, they think about sound waves and frequencies from EMFs like radio, Wi-Fi. But there's a waveform or an energy type which is seldom really discussed. And yet it's the most important one because it uses the medium that our body cells use to communicate with each other, and that is scalar. Scalar is it has several very special characteristics. It can pass through metal where logically signals shouldn't, right? But they can pass through steel cages without losing any of the energy. Uh, they get picked up by human cells very well because our DNA are scalar receivers. They are inherently, perfectly, physically um, arranged to receive scalar energy because they are twisted, and that's a double coil,
Mm,
which is wow. That's precisely what a scalar field receiver should be.
mm,
When you're developing in your mother's tummy, a cell in one part of your body has got to coordinate with the other cells to create a human. And these cells can be quite a distance apart. And if these cells were using regular, if you like, magnetic or radio waves to communicate with each other, they couldn't, with the tiny energies involved, they cannot span such a great distance. Yet the scalar field can.
mm.
And so the cells, and right now is the time to, start growing my ears and nose and everything in the right places. I mean, God plays, he's the great, the great one, but the communication between the cells, the physical side, is done through scalar. Now, the really interesting thing is science really hasn't cottoned onto that. The regular science, if you call it regular, hasn't cottoned onto it because you cannot detect a scalar field using wire, using a straight piece of wire. You need to have a scalar receiver.
That makes total sense.
And you can do it actually indirectly and prove that scalar fields are there by using crystal and the effects of the scalar field on crystals. And the scientists are scratching their head. There's no EMFs, no signals anywhere there. But yet these crystal forms are changing. They're still chasing that one. But it's quite remarkable just the subtle way that scalar can work on your body in the way of healing and in plants too.
Mm.
Very much so, because plants also have twisted DNA in their cells.
So say more about what they do on the body because they're very regenerative, aren't they, in terms of helping the body come back into harmony, back into balance?
Yes, it's just a scalar wave without any necessary frequency can be very healing. I guess it's like a glass of water if you're very, very thirsty, if you're really, really, if you're on death's corner and you get given a glass of water, it doesn't matter where the glass of water comes from, whether it's from one country or another, it's water, and to everyone that water is healing. You can add vitamins and minerals to the water and make it different. But ultimately, that water is inherently healing. And scalar fields seem to be like this. It's like what the body needs.
Mm.
If you put a plant in a scalar field, it grows. It doesn't matter what frequency you're running. You can apply frequencies and you can apply different narrow focused types of healing, like adding vitamins to the water, adding vitamin C to make your body better. Okay, yes, it enhances one certain aspect of the water. And you can do the same with scalar. You can apply frequencies and enhance certain aspects. So if you have certain conditions, sure, you can apply frequencies using the scalar field and address them. Or you can just have a plain vanilla scalar field. And in fact, the very first person who used our Spooky 2 scalar, who wasn't an in-house beta tester, she had breast cancer tumors. And they disappeared over the course of very few months, weeks, I should say. And the doctors were amazed and said, "Well, we don't know what you're doing, but just keep on doing it." She wasn't going to spill the beans on what she was doing, but that really drove home the inherent natural healing power of scalar. This was during a conference, a series of conferences we were having in America. We got this feedback through texts from this woman, and then she sent the lab reports just before our first conference. And when we came back, we wanted to know what modality she had used. Because you can use frequencies, you can use molecular modulation and other things as well. You know what she did? She just turned the thing on and slept in the field. That's all she did. She just drank plain water.
But it shows you that the body will absorb those energies in a way that then activates the natural healing capacity of the body.
Absolutely. No body wants to be sick. And the body has its own methods of healing. But sometimes its reservoirs are low and they need replenishing. And that's precisely what Scalar does.
Part of what I love about your devices, John, is like the Scalar. I'm not that tech savvy, so I just use the Scalar, the vanilla version, as you said. But it's very powerful healing energy. But then you can refine it and use it in more technical or more complex ways, and it has that kind of versatility.
When I first started using Scalar, I had my first color dream. Full blown, absolute technicolor dream. And normally my dreams aren't color, they're normally black and white. There's a theory that if you grow up during a black and white TV era, your dreams tend to be black and white. And I won't give too much away about my age, but I have had black and white dreams, but now, even if I'm not within the scalar field, my body, it's like a switch has been turned on. And now I'm color. I'm watching color movies instead of the old black and white. It makes changes. It gives your body what it needs. And I think my body, um, I had that little bit of creativity which hadn't been hatched yet, I guess, with the color side and the dreams. I had the potential. Sure, I can see color during the daytime. There's no logical reason why I dream in black and white. But that all changed and it's a permanent change. I haven't gone back, even if I go for several weeks without being in Scalar, if I'm working on other devices or whatever.
So it's not only healing, but it can enhance certain
Yes,
characteristics or gifts in the body. That's beautiful.
it is. Now, a lot of our customers, they've gone through the rigmarole of taking certain medications, and they've got to be on these medications for certain reasons. They find that they can place that medication on the receiver coil, and they don't need to consume it
Mm.
and enjoy all the side effects like, headaches and muscular dystrophy and all the other things that come as regular side effects. They can put the medication on the receiver coil and receive the positive benefits of the medication, because in the scalar field, the body cherry picks. It takes what it needs, and the rest just passes straight through. In a way, I guess, like a sponge, where a sponge can absorb the water, but it won't absorb too much water. And once it's full, it's full. It won't take anything else. So if your body needs certain nutrients or whatever, anything, um, it will. But once the cup's full,
Well,
it's easy. Just you place it on. There's no special technique. You don't have to do anything apart from put the, if it's if it's a tablet, we don't recommend tablets, but we aren't against them either. But if you have got a capsule, just place it on the circle on the receiver coil, and that's it. Just leave it there. And if the medication is expensive, people are finding that suddenly the economies of scale is looking pretty good. Instead of a $20 capsule being taken twice a day, it's a $20 capsule being left there for years.
well, it's interesting. It sounds, John, like it's honoring the intelligence of our bodies that can then work with those energies in a really collaborative, healing way. So it's rather than, pharmaceuticals are imposing something on our bodies and can often throw our bodies out of balance, even though we're getting some benefit from it. It can also create all these side effects. But it
Yeah.
sounds like the scalar is able to work with the body so that the body's absorbing what's healing and then activating its own healing process.
I think most people know that the effects of drugs on their bodies and things they've had to tolerate to achieve certain results. But there is a way of getting the best of both worlds. There is a way, and it's not expensive. And if you use this method over a long period of time, you've paid back scalar. You don't get the negative health results, risks, or anything.
Well, part of what I think is so valuable about this, John, is that I feel like we're in such a time of transition in the world right now. And there is a lot of increasing dysfunction in traditional allopathic medicine. And these frequency and scalar devices are allowing us to be empowered to take charge of our own health and to really do those things that we need to do to be activating our own healing.
Yes, I think this is something that should be written in the Constitution if you're in America, to be free to choose for your own body what things you should do for your own health. Um, yeah, I think it is that freedom is of tantamount importance. The most valuable thing we have is our own souls, and yet the health of our body where our soul resides is not in our control. I think if I walk into a shop, I should choose what foods I can eat. I could buy, and in the same way, what other substances go into my body, natural or otherwise.
Yeah, we should have our own empowerment around our own health.
Yeah.
And talk some about the microgen. I love the microgen.
Well, we we know that our Spooky 2 systems are complicated. The software is complicated. It's been around a long time and it's grown to really cover all angles, all aspects of dysfunctional health systems. Um, and because of this, it's grown more and more complex over time. When you first start the software, you think, oh my goodness, what button, what do I do? So we decided, right, let's make a device which is so simple to use that anyone can use it without opening that manual. Which, if I can use something without opening a manual, that really is the definition of a well-designed device. So we wrote a special software for MicroGen, which is so simple. It's almost like cartoon, watching a cartoon, just to turn your brain off. It's very easy to use without compromising really on performance. And a device which has got one button. So it's basically an on and an off button. And we did this. It's a little device that you carry on your person, put it into a pocket or purse. You attach two TENS pads to your body. So it is a contact device. And the unit can be worn all day and it can be applying the healing frequencies to your body in contact mode. And it can do so reasonably covertly. You can have the wires under your clothing so people don't know you've got this device on. It's very, very convenient. Just recharges and can be programmed through the USB-C port. Um, yeah, we're very
Huh.
proud of this device. Very proud.
Well, I have your Spooky 2 Rife machine also, but I love the microgen because it is more simple and it's portable. So I can
Mm,
just go about my workday and wear it. But part of what I think is interesting too, in terms of the programs that you have for it, is
mm.
they can target different physical issues or illnesses,
Right.
and they can also uh, be healing emotionally as well. So
Yes,
there's quite a spectrum of how it can be used and applied.
absolutely. Um, it's got the same main database as the horribly complicated Spooky 2 software, but it is so easy to use. You basically just choose the program and that's it. You don't have any settings. You don't have anything advanced. And you just load the programs into the unit. And so it's if you've got the flexibility, you've still got the power. I mean, it's the inside that little unit is the quite a high performance computer, 6 decimal places resolution for the frequencies. Um, it's quite advanced. It's not a simple device, but it's we've made it so that to the user it's just absolutely basic to use. A little discrete unit you carry with you, lasts all day and into the night, and charges while you sleep, and you can run while you charge. It's just a perfect little healing companion.
And it is, yes, and I do love the range of possibilities of how you can use it in terms of, again, either specific physical issues or mental, emotional issues or energetic issues. It also,
Yes,
again, can enhance your energy or your concentration, or you can use it in such a variety of ways.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're very proud of that unit. It achieved our goal of a device that anyone can use straight out from the box and is still quite powerful. In fact, when we first released it, some people were doubting whether it was powerful or not. So we told them a way that they can bypass the safety mechanism that is built into MicroGen. Um, because in lower frequencies, our bodies can feel them quite pronounced. So we have safety mechanisms to make it so it's not so, the sensations aren't so strong. And people we say, well, we can't feel it. So how can it be working? Okay, then buckle up.
Interesting.
And it really threw them off the seat. So okay, yep, no, there's no more discussion. It's it gives the power of a much greater sized unit, but it does it very efficiently and effectively
Yeah.
and comfortably.
So you are now developing a new device that I'm just trying to learn about it, but it seems like it's integrating frequency healing and the scalar energies. And this is the AHA Halo. So can you talk about
Yes.
this and how you came to develop that?
Well, sure. Our microgen, we were thinking, well, we can make some changes to microgen. And so we went back to the design stage and started doing changes. And then I started thinking, well, really, we should be looking at scalar and see whether we can create a little unit, just like the microgen, which we couldn't really improve much, but try and get it instead of contact mode into scalar, because that would be the ultimate. That we can't go beyond that because there's no wires. See, so I sat down, we're trying, fail, fail, fail. And then uh, I had an inspiration moment, an aha moment.
Was wondering how you got the name.
It's quite, yeah. I thought, wow. And I thought, it can't be. It's just too logical. It's just, you know how you think this is not going to work because it's just, it just sounds too crazy. But okay, go back to the manufacturing plants and get something really special made up. And wow, this is incredible. The results were absolutely brilliant. The scalar field was pure, it was strong, was everything that we could have desired. And so yes, that was the aha moment where we thought, wow, yeah, scalar. And then was refining until we got something which is pretty much pretty much 100% efficient. The energy that goes in is pure scalar. And so, okay, this is incredible. Now we've got a device that can be brought into hospitals and left with people that are sick because you can't connect TENS pads. This is one of the driving forces of Mycogen. We're thinking people could take it in and put the TENS pads on the sick people, but hospitals were asking them to take it off. They didn't want anything that wasn't theirs there. But here I've got a device that we can put next to these people, these family and friends that are battling for their lives, and help them in their battles discreetly. There's no wires, and you don't have to tell anyone what it is. It could be a Walkman.
Well, it's very small. You can easily hold it in your hand.
I've got one here. I've been told I've got to bring it back into the office today, but this is the unit here. it's still got its cover on the screen, so I'll take the cover off. Let's say it's got a bit of charge. So this is, um, here we go. Ah, hello. Oops. And then there it's running. When you turn it on, oh sorry, when you turn it on, it doesn't automatically run. It's got four buttons. Let's see which way is there. Four
Yep.
buttons. Now the buttons are for stopping and starting. Stopping is the pause. Then you can just, unlike MicroGen you load one program in and then you can run it and stop it. This one, because it's got a display, you can choose up to 30 programs on it. And you might ask the question, well, what are those 30 programs? Those programs are the ones that you've chosen from the database. You've loaded it up, so it's yours. It's got your conditions, your program that you want. And it's got a lot of programs here for mental health because Scalar is magic, as you've mentioned before, about mental issues, even sleep and things, depression, anxiety. This covers all that. So you choose, let's see if I can do it, mirror. So we've got 7 chakras.
Wow.
We're in lock at the mode. So there we go, it's running. And there it's got the person meditating just above the program duration. Menstrual discomfort. These are the programs that we have manually put in there. Prostate, stomach
So it's
discomfort.
coming from a much broader range of programs that you can access and then program your own 30
Yes.
significant ones.
We even got figure, which is weight loss. We've had to use names that are approved. So some of the names like figure. What is figure? Well, most people think figure as being like slimming and things. So yes, and so you just choose the program, and then okay, we'll do good sleep. Actually, I shouldn't do good sleep because it won't be good for me to nod off during an interview. Let's do collagen, and then you just press the run button. It's away, and it shows the time left down there. There's a progress bar that circles the display, but because the program's such a long one, you can only see it starting up now. It's a bit hard to see because it's purple on this video. And then once it's finished, it loops again, just keeps on going until you stop it.
So it will stay on that one frequency until you change it.
That's right. That's right.
And does it work within a certain distance from your body so that you don't have to have it actually on your body?
Yes, it's got a 1 meter effective radius. So as I speak, from my head to my toes, I'm getting the scalar field from this device. 1 meter is quite good because you can wear it in carry it in your purse, um, or in your pocket, or if you're sleeping, just have it next to you. It's uh, it's got all the benefits of the MicroGen, so it's rechargeable through the USB port. It's got a fast charge function as well as a slow charge function. When you program the device on your computer, it's on slow charge, and then you can load the programs in and out. And if you connect it to a USB charger, a dedicated charger, then it kicks into high power mode, high charge, high speed charge mode. It's got a very large battery actually, make it last a little bit longer than the MicroGen.
And
You
can
just,
you actually set it just for scalar without those added frequencies?
well, to create a scalar field, you need frequencies. And so you can choose a random program and it will produce a scalar field.
Okay,
But it does need a frequency to create because
right.
scalar fields are created through the changeover, the crossover of magnetic fields. It's like when something when two fields change polarity, swap polarity at that instant, it creates a scalar field bubble. And so you've got to do that at a certain rate. So it needs a frequency. So you can
Right.
choose any random frequency.
But you
And
don't need to have a focused frequency, say, for
no,
a particular
no.
condition.
In fact, I will consider putting a scalar field random frequency in. It'll just be a high frequency of maybe I'll choose a cancer frequency because if there's no cancer problem, then it won't matter. But if there is, then it will help. So maybe 1.604 megahertz.
Mm,
Yeah, good point. But there isn't a one which is like a vanilla plain glass of water
mhm. Okay.
type of, type of
That's
frequency.
what I was wondering. How, John, how does it work with the chakras? That really intrigues me when I was reading about that.
Yeah, I'll see if I've got the chakras. Uh, Songs of the Spine. Song of the Spine. Okay, 7 chakras. That's this program here. Oops, there we go. 7 chakras. That um, applies the chakra frequencies 3 minutes each within the scalar field. And so the different chakra points within your body individually and sequentially get these frequencies applied. And
So is
these are,
it helping clear any blocks in the chakras and helping them to then
yes,
activate in a more
yeah,
balanced?
they are the solfeggio frequencies, if you like. In the,
Okay.
yeah. And the solfeggio, that's the expanded one, so it's got the 9 frequencies. The Yes, it clears your any blocked chakras, which, as you're really probably alluding to, is the root cause of many chronic diseases.
Yeah.
Now, if everyone could clear their blockages either through scalar means or through meditation or other means, then their health will become much better. Their,
I learned that in my shamanic training because we learned how imbalances or stresses or traumas get encoded in our energy field, and then they move in and affect our
yes,
emotional mental body, and then they are absorbed in the physical body, and then we develop an illness. So this
yes,
clear your chakras, you're supporting your whole system coming back into harmony so that
that's
it
right.
doesn't end up moving in at those deeper levels.
Absolutely. Uh, and so that is what the 7 chakras program does. Each chakra it unblocks. When you're using singing bowls, for example, you focus on one chakra at a time, and then you move up and up and up. And if you can't clear all of them at the same time. It's
Right, right.
not
Same thing with
natural.
shamanic work.
Yes, yes. Um, I think the best results is when you work with the body. So you just allow it, go slow. The body's not not a high speed machine at times. Sometimes it's rather pedestrian. So you just gently go and let, help the body in certain areas and the body can slowly recover and restore.
I was reading too, John, that it impacts the DNA. Can you say something about that?
Yes, yes, which is, ah, you know, this aha moment has opened the floodgates of many other areas. One such area is DNA, which is made up from proteins which are made from amino acids. Now, through work in Spooky 2, we know precisely the frequencies for each of the amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins, which is the building blocks of DNA. And we can, re- I don't know what I can say on this channel without this video being pulled, but we can do magical things to DNA that restore you, almost like puts the aging process on rewind
Mm.
and definitely on hold, on pause, so that you don't.
Regenerative.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. It is regenerative. Um, I've I've created, building on the discoveries of people more smarter than myself in previous times, um, methods and procedures of applying what are songs of proteins.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
The applying these songs, which can be done audibly, by the way, creates a scalar wave along the backbone of proteins, which then spirals along the DNA because each of the DNA links is the protein leg. And then the word scalar, yes, now we can do it directly using a scalar device. Um, so this scalar can do things that other scalars can't do because we knew that. Well, I knew that one of its functions, whether it's now or later, is going to be applying these protein frequencies. Protein frequencies need to be applied very briefly. Its dwell is very short, and using a regular function generator has problems in doing this.
Mm.
But we've made this one very precise. Um, the frequency resolution, the dwell resolution is much higher, so we can go down to very, very small fractions of durations of time.
So it's
It's like,
literally singing the song to the DNA or the proteins or the cells
yes,
that they need to remember how to be back in full balance and harmony.
it is. It's the
Love that.
DNA's, as the DNA splits and it's 4 links per second. We know the precise speed of the separation of the DNA, then it's combining into another one, and the cells, the cell becomes two. We know that, so we've got to mirror that. We've got to talk we're talking the language of the body through scalar, but we've also got to talk at the same speed. If I talk to you at 10 times the speed, you wouldn't still get the message, even though I'm speaking the same language in English. The duration is wrong. So we've got to model what the recipient is, which is the DNA, give it in the way that the DNA can understand it and and apply the information. So yes, we are assisting the DNA in its work and also building on the DNA.
Mm.
Sometimes DNA has flaws. Where there is a flaw, we can apply a corrective protein frequency only to that one spot.
Mm.
So this device, um, although we can't, this is one thing we're struggling with, finding the right name we can use for the programs. Because we can't say this device can resolve hereditary diseases that there's no cure apart from control at the moment. Whereas this one can resolve the problems. We can't,
Mm.
how can we say this in words that pass as the three-letter agency? So
Mm.
it's, at the
Mm.
moment, it hasn't got these magical protein frequencies in there, but it will, and we're just going to find a way of, you know, getting it past the legal side. But it's got the capabilities. In fact,
Really helping the body remember its natural healthy state.
yes, yes, that's right. But some bodies actually, Heather, through whatever reason, I mean, they're born with
Mm.
conditions.
Mm.
You can do something about it.
Mm. On all levels.
Yes, you can. Yes, on all levels. And on probably the lowest level, the mechanical sense, you can do so now using the language of the body. Yeah. The in Spooky 2, I've got still actually I don't think I've released it. No, I haven't released it publicly, but I've been developing for a few years now protein frequencies and DNA repair frequencies, and it's not new to us. It's quite a now a mature system that we've developed, and I've written a paper on this to ensure that no one takes this idea and patents it. And so it's never going to be protected. And you know what happens next? Then you get these expensive devices that use these methods, and no one else can use a cheaper device to replicate it because then they'll be, trampled on legally. So I've written papers and released it free, and I've stated this is not copyright. It can never be copyright or patented.
That's one of the things I respect and appreciate about you, John. In our first interview, you talked about why you're so passionate about getting this information and these technologies out to people so that they can be empowered in their own healing process. Because you went through the pain of family members who needed that and didn't have it. So, and part of what I also really appreciate about your work is your deep understanding of the integration of physical, emotional, and spiritual healing, that it's all integrated.
Yeah. Um, yes, we are. We're not. Yeah, the body is complex, and so we've got many different levels. The physical realm, the spiritual realm, everything is together. We are wonderful. All of us are magic,
Mm,
and yeah, there's no single one solution. There's always, many different ways, and they can be applied simultaneously. Yeah. And with regards to me, look, I don't have an ego. This is probably what sets me apart. I don't from quite a few other businesses, if you like. I don't have an ego. I don't really have needs. Like, what do I need? I'm fed. I've got I've got a place to stay. I've got a I've got a passion for riding bicycles, not competitively. I just like getting out there and breathing nature and seeing things.
mm,
Um, I've been described as a running horse by someone here because people say slow down. But I like moving. I like experiencing. Um, and because I haven't got the ego, see, when other people, I was careful when I was talking about the scalar. Like we didn't invent scalar or the methods of creating scalar. And there are people that are much more clever than me that did that. But I can take these ideas and grow them. Sort of
mm,
quick. And and with regards to even our products, we've got literally, Heather, literally thousands of people that communicate with me regularly. Literally thousands, because we're quite large now. And give me their ideas. And they know that I'm never going to say it's me that thought of it, because it's
mm.
not. I'd be lying. And then I'd have to pay back some sort of debt somewhere down the track. But more importantly, it's not right.
Yes.
So yeah, most of the ideas are from these people, and the credits to them. So the credit is to the team. The credits to
Mm,
the people on our Facebook groups, on the Spooky Two forum. It's all over the place that are like-minded with us. Like attracts like. They don't do it for returns. They do it because one of several, well, lots of reasons really, but usually it's because they have been sick themselves and they have discovered us and found that we are good for them and they want to tell other people about what they can do to, to get better. Almost said that H word. I've stopped it halfway. Um, or people that are, are aware of of the holistic
Yes, yes,
necessity of everything you need to do to get better.
yes,
And we are a part of that, you know. We don't say that the system doesn't work and our systems are better, but I can honestly say our systems are brilliant. Yeah, but I can't say we're better or worse. I can't really put other people down. But we're very, very proud of what we have achieved. And um, yeah, okay, like attracts like. The people that I converse with and everything, they've also got no ego. They, they, they do it out of love and compassion.
yes.
No, they're happy when someone gets better and they accept the thanks, you know, but their focus is not on themselves. And they put in huge hours that they could be well spent in front of the TV or with family and friends of their own, you know.
Mm.
But they don't. They put aside regular hours. And when you look on Facebook, the administrators there and the moderators, they put in hours every day. And
What's
that
yeah.
frees me up to do the technical things because I just don't really do social networks.
Well, what I think is so great about that, John, is it is such an example of the Aquarian paradigms that we're meant to move into as we move into the Aquarian age, that we're meant to let go of the power over paradigms, the competition, the ways in which we're out for our own ends, but to be in collaborative community,
Mm,
passionately caring for each other and
right.
co-creating together. And this is, you know, both what you're developing are these cutting edge energy frequency ways of healing, but you're also doing it in a very Aquarian, collaborative, compassionate way. And speaking of that, I made it clear to your team that I really love to share about these devices because I use them, I believe in them, I know their value. I want to support others in healing and improving their lives. And I don't want any commission for this. This is because I too want to be part of that community supporting how we can be empowered in our own healing process.
You are a very beautiful person. Very
Well, I
beautiful.
have great respect for you, John, and for what you're doing and for the integrity that you have in what you're doing. So thank you for sharing all of this today and for the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you for your time and thank you, viewers, for watching this video. And I hope that you've at least gained at least one thing, like the empowerment side, the age of Aquarius, and the spreading of love. There's a song, isn't there? The age of Aquarius, and that song. No, just listening
Yes.
now, it's tweaked. Like that must have been what 12? Is it every 12 years there's a cycle? 12, so maybe the song's 24 years old. But when I think about the lyrics of the song, it's all about love, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. All about love and coming back into right harmony, right balance.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I've learned something.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, John, and thank you to all of you listening and for the ways in which we are supporting each other and collaborating with each other to heal on all levels. Blessings to you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.